My dear mother-in-law, I'm sure you've heard all sorts of stories about what happened in Jonah's house across the town from you. As soon as we came back to Capernaum, the word got around that Jesus was here. He came to Jonah's house, and soon there was a crowd of people pushing in. The room was full and the door wedged with people who couldn't get in. Jesus began to teach, and as he was talking, I was diverted by a noise coming from the roof above. It sounded like some giant rats scrabbling about. I'd only got as far as thinking this when a trickle of dust started to come down. The dust became more and more, and suddenly we could see daylight. Someone was making a hole in the roof. You can imagine how Jonah felt. If it wasn't so crowded, he would have run outside, up the stairs, and seen who it was. The hole was getting bigger and bigger, and soon we could see 4 faces peering down. I looked at Jesus. I expected him to say something, maybe suggest that the men should have waited to see him rather than damage property like this. But no, he said nothing, just waited. Then there was more scuffling, more dust, and bits of reed came down, and the hole got bigger. No one spoke. We just watched. And then the light was blocked out by a dark shape. It was, we soon saw, a man on a mat being lowered down. We squashed back, and he was neatly lowered in front of Jesus. The man was paralyzed. Jesus looked at him, and we expected him to say something and heal him. But instead, Jesus said to him, "Son, your sins are forgiven." There was an intake of breath from everyone, and the teachers of the law in the far corner started muttering. I'm not surprised. I was taken aback by myself. Only God can forgive sins, and here was Jesus showing that he had the right to do so. Was Jesus saying he was God? Jesus seemed to know what was being said, because he turned to the teachers of the law and said to them, "Why are you thinking these things? Which is easier to say to this paralyzed man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or say, 'Get up, take up your mat and walk'? Well, even I know the answer to that." Then Jesus went on to say that he was going to prove that he had the authority to forgive sins. He turned to the paralyzed man and told him to get up, take his mat, and go home. And he did. He really did. And he wasn't even wobbling. He picked up his mat and walked out of the house, right in front of us. We just stood there amazed, mouths open, looking at each other in wonderment. We'd never seen anything like this before. But the best bit was the look on the faces of the teachers of the law. Jesus has shown his authority, and they didn't like it one bit. Who is this man? His authority to forgive sins, to heal those who are sick. Can he really be God? Must go now. Love, Peter.